The 9th round of the FIM MX1 Motocross World Championship is about to reach a conclusion here in this second MX1 race of the afternoon, the first of which was won by Evgeny Bobryshev, the Russian, on the Honda World Motocross Honda. Second to him was Tony Cairoli, but he was, well, it shows 4 seconds back, but the gap was never really any less than 10 seconds because Bobryshev grabbed an all-important hole shot. He picked up the €250 bonus for the Love My Time pole position hole shot award, and he streaked ahead of everybody else, and by lap 3, lap 4, it's pretty much game over. It was his race to lose. Cairoli, on the other hand, he fell from 2nd position down to 4th after about lap 6, lap 7, and he had to work hard to get back into 2nd position, and he was pushed by Frossard all the way. Max Nagel would be disappointed to lose a podium position on the final lap to Stephen Frossard, especially here at home, and he'll be looking to make amends in this second race. So it was Bobryshev who won the first race from Cairoli, Frossard 3rd, Nagel 4th with the South, a hero's ride in 5th on his Suzuki. Kenda Dyker rode pretty good, actually, came from 10th place to secure 6th, and then it was Rui Gonçalves, Jonathan Barragan, David Pideparts who had a no back break, and Steve Bremont ahead of Sean Simpson. And as you can see, 15-second board is up, and the crowd waiting again here to see what will happen in MX1. They've seen Roczen go good in MX2. The gate's about to drop here for the 2nd time of the day for the MX1 riders, and Cairoli hangs off the back of the bike there from about 4 or 5 gates across, and it looks like Cairoli grabbed the whole shot as he hit the stripe. Bobryshev goes there through in 2nd position as well. So Evgeny Bobryshev, and we've got a couple of riders down. Kevin Woutz, I think it is, the Belgian, on the File Kawasaki, got caught up there, number 75, so hopefully he's okay. But over the line, it's Cairoli and Bobryshev who goes to the front again. So Bobryshev, he is on a different planet so far this weekend. Almost off the side of the bike there, though, as he comes over that stepper. He's got Tony Cairoli just behind him. We've got Max Nagel in 3rd position. And Cairoli has to take evasive action and tries to go down the inside of the Honda rider. He would have been a little bit angered at the fact that Bobryshev came across him going down in the opposite direction just a moment ago. And Cairoli almost off the bike through that slippery right-hander. We've got Nagel in 3rd position. Cairoli, he's going for the jugular straight away, not wasting any time, pushing that KTM up the inside, letting Bobryshev know that he's there. Playing some good games here, Cairoli, trying to unsettle the Russian, knowing that he might be a little bit tired for his efforts after the first moto. Simpson looks like he's got a good start in 4th position on the NS Honda, as Cairoli continues to harry Bobryshev into making a mistake in the early stages. Rui Gonçalves was around about 5th, Barragan 6th, Porcel this time 7th. And the reason that he pulled in for the first race, for those of you who watched him pull out in that first moto, he forgot to wear his body armor was the official reason, and he was getting roosted, and he decided to pull in, and well, that was it. Plain and simple, schoolboy error, I'm afraid. So Christophe Porcel then, he should be the freshest of these riders out here. We're waiting for him in the background. There he is, just behind Jonathan Barragan, in around about 8th position. Xavier Borgen and around there as well. So all the 3 Kawasaki's up front where they need to be. But Evgeny Bobryshev, 777. He's taken the challenge to Tony Cairoli, the 222, who's still trying to find a way through into the lead here. Cairoli wants to win the Grand Prix because the helmet that he's wearing is a Pit Byra replica, and he goes up the inside of the Russian, who leaves the door open slightly, and Cairoli tries to take him out, and he goes down. Now, there was something laying in the track there. I don't know what that was. Maybe some kind of protectant cover, disc cover, maybe. But Cairoli, you saw he tried to go for Bobryshev at every opportunity on that opening lap. He was annoyed that Bobryshev came across him off this drop-off here on that opening lap, and he tried to take him out in the very next corner, or certainly run him hard anyway in this turn here. And there were a couple of attempts as well. Cairoli just needed to hold the inside line here, but watch, he goes in over the bars, over the rut, sorry, and gets caught in with the Russian, and he goes down hard, and that will allow No, just a piece of something in the track there, so no damage done to that motorcycle of Tony Cairoli, who now finds himself behind Clement de Sal, maybe, just down there in the dip. So the number 25, Clément de Sal on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. He's now got to deal with the number 222, Tony Cairoli on the Red Bull Tekka KTM. So he'll be in around about 6th position. And he leaves himself with a little bit of work to do. Bobachev was the fastest on the opening lap with a 2:03.8. Everyone else 2:04s, 5s and 6s in the top 10 group of riders. Ken de Dijker, another bad start for him on the LS Honda in the second moto. Look at the stones coming up at the camera. Just right on the lens of the camera. We have a nice tear-off strip though on there, but was that Xavier Bourg going up the inside? I think it was. On the green Kawasaki. So we get ready for the riders to come around then to complete their second lap. Cairoli goes up the inside and swoops across the front of the Suzuki of Clément de Sal, who tries to nudge his way up the inside of the KTM through that turn 3, the penultimate corner. He's going to go after Cairoli, I think, here in the early part of this race. He might try and upset the championship standings here. He needs to. But the fastest man on track, Max Nagel, about, 0.05 of a second quicker than Evgeny Bobachev. He's 2.7 seconds down on the Russian. Here's Max Nagel, the German, in that second position. Gonçalves is third, Cairoli now fourth, Clément de Sal is fifth on that yellow Suzuki. So this is the battle for third position here at the moment. Gonçalves 9.99 there, currently in that third place. Tony Cairoli just behind him in fourth. And we've got Clément de Sal in yellow. He's in fifth place. Right, what's going on down here? Is that Pourcel? Oh, no. Whoa! Somebody going, is that Xavier Bourg? How do you end up cartwheeling from that position coming out of a corner there? Unbelievable. Max Nagel streaks up the back of that KTM and leaves Ken de Dijker absolutely stranded, who then tries to cut behind the Kawasaki of Christophe Pourcel. And who is it that goes down here? There goes de Dijker. Might have been... Anyway, maybe the 70, Yves Frolato, maybe. But Bobachev trying to do what he did in moto number 1. Well, that would be a dream German Grand Prix, wouldn't it? Winning your first race in the first race. Currently leading here in the second race. Oh, almost off the bike there, going into that final corner. Ken de Dijker now up into 12th place. He's got... Is that a Kawasaki just ahead of him? Closing up into the corner. Difficult to see. Might be Ramon. Number 11 on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. Cairoli in a battle, trying to find a way into third position. Trying to snatch it from number 999, Rui Gonçalves. The teammate too, Evgeny Bobachev. And look at that, Clément de Sal not out of this one yet. He wants to take the challenge too, Tony Cairoli. So that one mistake at the start of the second lap costing Tony Cairoli not only a little bit of time, but it's put him in a situation that he'd rather not be in, where he's battling with the likes of Clément de Sal and Rui Gonçalves. And neither of these two guys will want to lay down and roll over and let the Sicilian through. They won't want to make it easy for him, that's for sure. Oh, almost off the bike there for Cairoli. Got on the gas, hit the slick patch, and the back end almost came round. Well, it did come round on him and it bit back. But fortunately for him, he was able to get away with it. And he goes through on, he almost goes through on Rui Gonçalves. Scrubs his way nicely up onto the plateau. Drops down the inside of the Portuguese rider here. He's going to run him in hard as well. Squares off the corner. He's going to get a good drag through here. 350 power versus 450 power. And Cairoli, he's going to go through. He has the left line going into this corner. But Gonçalves goes wide. He's going to leave himself open to attack from Clément de Sal. Everybody's slamming into that deep rut as a consequence. But hats off to Clément de Sal, riding battered and bruised. He's got a split finger. He's got a damaged shoulder, dislocated 2 weeks ago in the Belgian Championship race. He rode through the pain barrier last week, and he's doing just that here this weekend. He's in the second of 3 Grand Prix in a row. Sweden, of course, last week here in Germany. And then we had Ramon's gone down, and he's disappointed with himself as Kevin Watts goes through, and that'll be down in 17th position. 4. And look at this, DeSalle having a go at Gonçalves as he was coming out of the final corner just a moment ago. He won't want to see Cairoli getting too far away, that's for sure. Come on, DeSalle. So it's his time to dig in deep here and try and go after the MX1 points leader, Tony Cairoli. Normally, Commander Sal would relish these conditions. Lorenzo, the most nervous man in the paddock at the moment, down in pit lane, as he watches Evgeny Bobyshev pull out a 3.5-second advantage over Max Nagel at the head of the field. Then we've got Cairoli in third. This battle here for 4th position between the red Honda of Rui Gonçalves and the yellow Suzuki of Commander Sal, currently there in 5th position. Almost runs into the back of the Portuguese Honda's rear wheel. Keeps it nice and tight coming out of that right-hander though. And has he found the line to go? Yes, he has. And he goes into 4th position, Commander Sal. He's going after Tony Cairoli, who's just scribbling his way over that tabletop, keeping the bike nice and low. So MX1 throwing up all kinds of dramas again, just like it has done for pretty much every Grand Prix so far this year in 2011. Stephen Frossard, where's he? Down in 16th place. So Frossard, who sits 3rd in the championship and finished 3rd in the first race, having snatched that. Oh, nice there from DeSalle. Big impact landing though. That was a brave move, a gutsy move from Commander Sal. It's the only way he's going to make up time. He goes down hard on Cairoli, who slams the door on the front of the Suzuki. So game on here between our 2 leaders in the championship, 222, Tony Cairoli and Commander Sal, 25. And Cairoli now under attacking his teammate, Max Nagel. Nagel, number 2, just hanging on. A mistake there from DeSalle, but he manages to keep on the power and cuts through the middle of the turn as he heads for the Monster Energy finish line jump. And he's able to close right back on the rear wheel of both the KTMs here. And I wonder if he'll double his way into that left-hander just at the end of the rebootizer straight, just like he did a moment ago, and get the landing just right and take out a chunk of time on both the KTMs of Max Nagel and Tony Cairoli just ahead of him there, number 2 and number 222 there in 2nd, 3rd. That's DeSalle in yellow in 4th. Rui Gonçalves on the Honda, he's been dropped off the back in 5th. Barragan is 6th, De Dijker is 7th. And then we have Sean Simpson on the LS Honda in 8th. Christophe Pourcel down in 9th place on the CLS Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and Davide Guarneri down in 10th. Jill Cox, Tony Cairoli's girlfriend there, the blonde, looks on at this battle between the 2 KTM teammates. And Cairoli just looking a little bit impatient. Doesn't want to keep Commander Sal behind him for too long, although DeSalle just, Frossard's out. Frossard's out, he's stalked the bike. Is that turn 9? I think it is. And he's either pushing it to bump start it. So Frossard then, he was 15th a moment ago. Right, DeSalle, is he going to double his way in? Yes, he does. Look at the time that he makes. Goes wide around the corner. Commander Sal, he knows that Cairoli is being held up by number 2, Max Nagel. Nice line there from Tony Cairoli. Gets in early, gets out early, and then squares off his teammate. A nice move there. And the crowd roar their disapproval of Tony Cairoli going through a Max Nagel, but it was a sensational move there from the defending champion, Tony Cairoli, and new series points leader. He squared off the turn just at the end of pit lane. He worked his magic, went from left to right to left, and found a way through. So DeSalle then, yeah, Frossard just stalled the bike. He was in 15th position. Thought about starting it. Ramon's gone around the outside. Look, Kevin Wout's gone around the outside. Gregory Aranda. So that's, what, 17th, 18th, 19th? Still waiting for Frossard to come around, actually. So not a good second motor. I thought the front end went there from Tony Cairoli just a minute ago as he came into that turn. Commander Sal, though, going after Max Nagel. Paul Selzen again. He's got his goggles on this time, so that's all right. Looks like it might be a front brake adjustment or maybe changing the bar pad or something like that. Who knows? But Commander Sal goes after Max Nagel. This is a battle for third position. We've got 21 minutes plus 2 laps to go. The sun out here on this Tal Kessel Teufenthal circuit. Cairoli has escaped from these two guys. Look, already in the first of the tabletops. Commander Sal going to jump over to the right-hand side. Doubles his way in. No, he just takes a single option. Keeps it nice and tight this time. Maybe felt that he landed too far into the corner. Lost too much time going around the outside last time as we're on board with Ken de Dijker. He's in 6th position. 7th position. He's been overtaken by Jonathan Barragan. That's the Spaniard just ahead of the Belgian. Ken de Dijker gets into the side of Jonathan Barragan on the factory Kawasaki and finds his way back into 6th position, having just lost it somewhere else on that last lap. But Ken de Dijker not shy of the odd challenge here and there. Where's Evgeny Bobryshev? Well, he is 4.1 seconds clear of Tony Cairoli at the moment. But Cairoli wants to go after the Russian to win the Grand Prix. The KTM of Max Nagel and the Suzuki of Commander Sal, number 25, that yellow machine, side by side as they came through the wave section and up and over the step-up jump. And de Sal just having to pick his moment, try and find a way past the German, who is looking to try and get on the podium here at his home Grand Prix. He will be there even if Commander Sal finds a way through. Bobryshev would win it on 50. Ahead of Cairoli on 44. That would all change, though, if Cairoli finds a way past the Russian, because they will exchange first and second positions, and it will go to Cairoli as the best result in the second moto. Nagel, though, he will be on the podium, even if he stays third or goes to fourth. But Commander Sal desperately needs the points. He needs to keep Tony Cairoli in his sights. As we move to Latvia, before he can get himself a 2-week rest before the next Grand Prix, which will be at Lommel at the end of July. Goes to the inside. Is he going to double in? No, singles again. So Commander Sal, maybe a couple of impact landings as well. Just a moment ago, we're going down to Suzuki. We're going to talk to Eric Gabors.
I'm in pit lane with Eric Gabors. Eric, at the moment, de Sal is showing his real strength. He's currently running fourth.
Yeah, he's a tough guy, and his shoulder is okay. He got some confidence in the first heat, and he said he's going to attack from the beginning, so I hope he's back, definitely.
Thanks, Eric.
Commander Sal tried the Tony Cairoli line there. Didn't quite work out, though. But he goes around Max Nagel, who keeps the inside line. Makes de Sal go around the outside again, coming in over the finish line jump. But de Sal able to square off early. He's going to go around the German here. Takes a longer sweep around the corner, gets the power down, and he runs alongside the German. They're side by side as they were a lap or so ago. But once again, Max Nagel just edges out over the Suzuki rider of Commander Sal. The gap at the head of the field, incidentally, 3.5 seconds now between Bobryshev and Tony Cairoli. With Cairoli lapping, what, half a second quicker that time around than the Russian, Evgeny Bobryshev. De Sal, though, pursuing the German, number 2 here, Max Nagel, for that third position in this race. Just behind them, Rui Gonçalves about 3 seconds further back. This time de Sal goes through. So de Sal then launches his way past the German Max Nagel and into third. In terms of, well, that will keep Commander Sal fourth overall in the Grand Prix. Probably a little bit more than he would have expected at the start of the week anyway, but Commander Sal then Has he got anything to go after Tony Cairoli? Will Cairoli make a mistake and allow a way back in for the number 25 of Clement de Sal? There's our race leader on the Honda World Motocross machine. Evgeny Bobryshev leading the second race here. He led every single lap of race number 1. When I spoke to him after the race, he was pretty pumped, pretty excited, but he said he was a little bit tired, a little bit almost lethargic. But he was going to go and get a rest and see what he could do in the second moto. But 3.5 was the gap last time. Bobryshev over the line now, 204.3. Cairoli just over the line now with a 204.5. That gap goes out to 3.8. So in some way, Evgeny Bobryshev responding to the advances of Tony Cairoli on that Red Bull Tekka. KTM, who just drops the front end there slightly at the beginning of that wave section. There's David Philipparts. He's down in 8th position at the moment on the Monster Energy Yamaha. Not having a good time here. Lost his back brake in the first race. Did David Philipparts, and in terms of where he was in the race when that happened, he was 5th and he eventually finished down in 9th. So a bad start this time around. Even worse for his teammate Stephen Frossard, who's just on the edge of the points at the moment with that 20th position. We saw him stall the bike in a left-hander at turn 9 a few laps ago, and eventually couldn't start it, so had to push the bike down the hill to get it bump started. And well, he's 3 seconds off of Schmidinger in 19th. About 6 seconds off of Campano in 18th, so it's going to be a low point scoring ride, you feel, for Stephen Frossard, unless he takes a sack full of riders and a bag full of points in the remaining 15 plus 2 laps to go. Still plenty of time for him to get up there though and salvage something, but it's not going to be easy here. Tanel Leop, we just saw him on the TM, the blue machine, the factory bike, and he's down in 9th place. That's David Guarneri on the Bud Rockstar Racing Love My Time Kawasaki. He's down in 10th place. Sean Simpson just behind him on the LS Honda, number 24. Then we've got Mark Deruva down in 12th position, and Deruva not been to the last 2 Grand Prix in La Bagneza in Spain and Uddevalla in Sweden. And Ken de Dijker, where's he now? 6th. So he's got Rui Gonçalves just ahead of him going around that turn and dropping down the hill. And he's pretty close to Max Nagel. And look at this, Clement de Sal has gone after Tony Cairoli, and he is starting to pull in the Sicilian. And this will change the shape of the championship, albeit ever so slightly, because it will be points gained back in Clement de Sal's favour. And we heard Eric Gabor say a moment ago, just in the pit lane interview, the first race was good for him, Clement de Sal. He gained a lot in confidence, so he's obviously feeling okay with that shoulder. These conditions, hard, slick, loose, rutty, square edge bumps on turns as well, you know, and just very, very tricky. But de Sal just losing a little bit of momentum just through those last 3 or 4 corners. And he's going to have to dig deep to close back in on Tony Cairoli there, number 222. He sits 2nd in the race at the moment, and he's now 6.7 seconds down. A bad lap what it was then for Tony Cairoli with a 207.5 compared to the 204.5 of Evgeny Bobryshev, our race leader. Well, that will give the Russian vital breathing space. There's Christophe Pourcel, 377. He is, well, he's a lap down. So, Pourcel down in 31st position, but he's got to stay out there really. He needs the time on the bike, because we've got another Grand Prix next weekend, of course, at Latvia at Kegums, just down the road from Riga. Little bit of a sand track, not deep like Lommel or Lirot, but more a little bit deeper than somewhere like Agada in Portugal. There's Rui Gonçalves, 999. He's found a way past Max Nagel. So Nagel now goes from 4th to 5th place. We've got Ken de Dijker there, number 9, looming large in 6th position. And if Max Nagel isn't careful, he's going to find himself off the 3rd step of the podium, and that'll be much to his disappointment. Roger gives the board to Rui Gonçalves, number 999. As he moves up into 4th position, ahead of the home favourite here, Max Nagel. Stone still flying at Ken de Dijker. Mistake there from Max Nagel as he came out of the turn. Just see him trail a leg, just getting caught up in one of those deep ruts. And Max Nagel then has to try and fend off the challenge from Ken de Dijker with just under 11.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. And, well, the situation at the moment, de Salle is on the podium now, 36. Nagel now off the podium anyway in 4th, so maybe he already knows that. Maybe the head's gone for Max Nagel. But with 11 plus 2 to go, Bobryshev still has a 7-second advantage over Cairoli at the head of the field. Ken de Dijker pushing on that LS Honda, number 9. Two-time race winner here last year in 2010. In a result that certainly went against the form book. Riding a Ritchie Yamaha that he wasn't familiar with and didn't really get to grips with throughout the season, but he made it work for him around here on birthday weekend. As he heads up over the hill in pursuit of Max Nagel. Back down through the rebootizer rhythm section, a couple of tabletops and a single. Closer than he was last time. Here's Ken de Dijker to the rider ahead of him, number 2, Max Nagel. Different choice of lines. Look at the holes there, look how deep and bumpy it is going downhill. Horrible little kicker coming out of there as well as you get on the gas and crest the hill just on the entry to pit lane. He goes wide, and Ken de Dijker definitely going to put the squeeze on Nagel as he goes into turn 1. So de Dijker now moves up into 5th place. So Bobryshev then has a 6.1 second advantage over Clément de Salle, over Cairoli. De Salle 3rd, about 4 seconds further back, with Gonçalves now 4th, de Dijker 5th, Nagel 6th, Barragan 7th, Philippart's 8th. Tanel Leoc should be 9th, and there's Steve Ramon. He's down in 11th place at the moment. Nine minutes plus 2 laps remain here in the second FIM MX1 motocross race at the German Grand Prix at Teushenthal in Germany. It's the 9th round of the season. Tanel Leoc just goes out there in number 6. He goes out of 9th position on that TM. But up front we've got Evgeny Bobryshev, still has a 6.1 second advantage over Tony Cairoli, who lapped a full second quicker on the 12th lap just a moment ago. So it's game on here with 8.5 minutes to go as Bobryshev continues to defend that lead that he has over Tony Cairoli, which will decide the outcome of this German Grand Prix. The result going either to Russia or to Italy. De Salle is in 3rd position at the moment. He's 4 seconds down on Tony Cairoli, and he's on the 3rd step of the podium overall for the Grand Prix, though, with that 3rd place. Rui Gonçalves is 4th ahead of Ken de Dijker, who just found a way past Max Nagel a moment ago. And then we have Jonathan Barragan 7th, Philippart's 8th, Tanel Leoc 9th, and Steve Ramon 10th. We were looking at Stephen Frossard there, number 183 on the 2nd of the Monster Energy Yamahas, and he's now up into 18th position, and he could maybe even get himself back to 16th, but not going that way, or not going the way of the Frenchman, Christophe Pourcel at the moment, as he tries to explain himself out of a 0-0 score here in his first Grand Prix back since he left at the end of 2007 to go to the USA. Brad Anderson, though, up into 13th position on the PAR Honda. He'll be pleased with those points, especially after the, 19th that he picked up in the first race. So it'll be good points for the Northeasterner. He's just behind Mark de Ruver, right on the back of Mark de Ruver, actually, in 12th. And then we've got Guarneri. In fact, we've got Guarneri, de Ruver, and Brad Anderson fighting over 11th position. So the 39, the 14, and the 54. Simpson about 11 seconds further back in 14th position. So Brad Anderson could be on the verge of just outside the top 10 here. There's Tony Cairoli, still 6.3 seconds down on Evgeny Bobryshev. And Tony Cairoli, is he going to go after the win here? He took a look up as he crested the Tekka jump just a moment ago to see exactly where, a mistake there though coming out of that right-hander, but he looked up to see exactly where Evgeny Bobryshev was. And to take another look over here as well, just a casual look over to the left to see exactly where the Russian is. And he'll know exactly what 6.3 seconds looks like as he fires his way down the rhythm section to the back end of the work area, pit lane. Bobryshev just going over the Mormai tabletop there. But regardless of what happens in the second race, you cannot fault the effort. We're going down to pit lane. I think we're talking to Honda. Maybe Lorenzo Resta talking to us, but hopefully not prematurely.
I'm here with the Honda World Motocross, Lorenzo Resta, team manager. Lorenzo, Bobryshev got his first race win, but this could be his first overall win in the Grand Prix. What did he do between the motos?
Oh, we just changed some stuff on the bike. I think that the rider was resting a little bit just to keep energy till the end. He's riding impressively fast, as he's doing also Rui at his Ford. So it's an amazing race. We're so happy today, and we will see how it goes in 10 minutes.
We still have 9 minutes, well, 10 minutes to go, so we'll keep fingers crossed then.
Yeah, it's bad for the heart, but it's like that.
Thank you, Lorenzo.
He had to leg his way through that left-hander, though, did Evgeny Bobryshev. That gap coming down, 4.8 seconds, so Cairoli can see that gap coming down. He's got 5 minutes plus 2 laps in which to do something about the lead here of Evgeny Bobryshev, who will be, well, we'll leave all the stats in a minute, but he'll be on the verge of taking his first overall Grand Prix victory. There's Cairoli in the background, just the other side of the Monster Energy tabletop jump. And, well, Evgeny Bobryshev, watch this, he just loses a leg here as he jabbed his way around there. Fortunately for him, he's got long legs, and he's a big, strong kid as well, there's Bobryshev. And that might not have upset the rhythm too much anyway, but he will know that Cairoli is closing in. The board signals will go out. In fact, there was Cairoli just coming onto the plateau a moment ago. So Evgeny Bobryshev then is on the verge of his first ever Grand Prix victory, having taken his first race win earlier on in the day here. So it could be quite a historic occasion in the FIM MX1 Motocross World Championship, which got renamed, rebranded back in 2004 under the guidance of Youthstream. And Bobby, well, he just has to keep his composure here. He's made 1 or 2 little mistakes on this lap, and it's down to him to stay focused. It's down to the team to use all of their experience and all of their knowledge as well to make sure that he can do what he has to do. Cairoli flashes past in the background. It was 4.8 last time around. Cairoli just coming in around the back of the crane. He can almost see the Russian Evgeny Bobryshev, and Cairoli looking to home in here with 3.5 minutes plus 2 to go. It's a 2 minute and 5, 2 minute 6 lap time. So we're going to have, what, 3 laps to go then? 4 laps to go, sorry, because as they come around next time, there'll still be plenty of time on the track, on the clock, in which Tony Cairoli can do something about that lead. Clement de Salle, he's had a pretty heroic ride here in this second moto. He's got himself into 3rd position, having found a way past Rui Gonçalves, Kenda Dijker, Max Nagel, maybe 1 or 2 others as well, after not the best of starts, but he was in there somewhere thereabouts, where he didn't have to do as much as he had to do in Sweden a week ago, say. And Clement de Salle, he will be on the podium with that 3rd position. Can't do anything about Tony Cairoli or Evgeny Bobryshev. They're 7-8 seconds ahead of him, just going out of sight in the opposite direction. David Guarneri cruising. Not sure if he's been off or landed funnily, but he moves out of the way as Tony Cairoli comes through on that Red Bull Tekka factory KTM. He'll take a look over to his left as he comes over the hill to see where Bobryshev is. He was 3.6 seconds down on the Russian at the start of this lap 16. Kenda Dijker, meanwhile, down in 5th place. About 4 seconds down on Rui Gonçalves, who's already over the Monster Energy tabletop, right on the far end of the circuit. There is Bobryshev just going, Gonçalves just going around the left-hander into the rebootizer rhythm section. As Guarneri continues to coast, he's in the way here of Kenda Dijker, who has to take evasive action to go around the outside. but it won't cost Didika too much time. Nagel now dropping down to 6th, Barragan 7th, Philippart's 8th. 9th is Ramon, 10th Mark de Ruva having a good ride down in 10th position, having returned back to action after missing the last couple of Grand Prix in Spain and in Sweden. Then we have Brad Anderson has found his way into 11th position. He's followed Mark de Ruva through, but de Ruva already 7 seconds clear of the northeasterner from the UK. Then we've got Simpson 12, Aranda 13, Boissier, Frossard now 15th ahead of Kevin Woutz. Then we have Burg, Walkner, Campano, Schmidinger down in 20th. Cairoli is just coming into view now. That's the gap between first and second. We've got 3 laps to go here. And Tony Cairoli knows he has to find a way past the Russian, number 777 on the Honda. If he's to win this Grand Prix, that will take his tally to 40 overall victories in his Grand Prix career that started back in 2003. Oh, almost off the side of the bike there for the Russian. Oh, as he has to go around Carlos Campano as well. A fallen back marker coming through that right-hander. And that gap coming down all the time. It was 2.6. It's more like maybe 1.8, 1.9 seconds as they work their way over to the far end of the circuit. And Cairoli, we've seen him do this time and time again throughout his career as an MX2 and now as an MX1 rider. He uses the last 7 or 8 minutes plus 2 laps to go to really home in on the riders ahead of him. And in this case, it's the Russian Evgeny Bobryshev, who's led every single lap, just as he did in Moto number 1. So it'll be 2 laps to go then. Cairoli, will he continue to push here, or will he just take a bit of a breather and wait until the final lap? That gap is coming down all the time. Both riders being urged on by the crowd. A nervous look over the shoulder then for the Russian Evgeny Bobryshev as he came out of the final corner to head back down the start straight. That gap, you can see it, it's not 2.6 now. Maybe 0.9, maybe just 1.1, 1.2 seconds, something like that. We'll get the count back right now as Cairoli comes over the line. It was a 206.4 for the Russian. It's 205.7, so 1.9 still, the gap. So Bobryshev then was only, what, about 3/4 of a second slower than Tony Cairoli. That's not going to be enough. But it will be mighty close between these two guys. Cairoli has a better line off there, though. Carries more momentum through the middle of the corner. A faster drop-off point as well. He saw Bobryshev holding that inside line. He's used that line throughout the whole of the moto. He has to turn a little bit tighter, gets off the gas a little bit earlier. He's got an awkward drop-in as well. So if Cairoli is close, that might be one of the areas where he finds a way past the Russian. But we've got back markers coming into play as well. But with 2 laps to go, it's Evgeny Bobryshev still has a narrow advantage over Tony Cairoli. Oh! And Cairoli just got balked there by a back marker. Gunter Schmidinger on the Honda just as he came through that left-hander. And that might have been enough to allow Bobryshev just to get enough of an advantage on this, with a lap and a half to go. DeSalle still 3rd, Gonçalves still 4th, Didika, Nagel still 6th, Barragan still 7th, ahead of Philippart's Ramon and de Ruva with Brad Anderson down in 11th position. This is the battle for the lead though. Bobryshev, a little bit slow, getting out of that left-hander. He's got just over a lap to go. He drops downhill for the penultimate time. He's got Cairoli looming in large off the back of that Honda. Listen to the crowd going absolutely insane. Another nervous look there. He might have just enough in hand here, but Cairoli, he's going to push on here. We've got a grandstand finish here in Teussenthal, Germany. Probably the most atmospheric Grand Prix we've had for 2011. And the most entertaining, the most action as well. Over the line, 1.1 seconds. We don't need a stopwatch to tell us that, though. And Cairoli, he looks like he has it in control here. And it's Bobryshev's race to lose, and the Grand Prix, of course. Through the wave section, the Honda leads the KTM. Look at the difference in line here. Bobryshev goes tight to the inside. Cairoli carries a little bit more momentum, gets a better drop in, although it wasn't so great there for Tony Cairoli. I think he knows where he's going to find a way past the Russian, even though he hasn't been that close to him. I think he realizes he has a plan up his sleeve. It's going to be with about 4 or 5 corners to go. Maybe over by the rebootizer wave section, rhythm section. But already starting to become one of the most popular riders on the MX1 Grand Prix circuit is Evgeny Bobryshev. He just needs to hold his nerve and his focus. Almost out of the seat there, both riders, as they transfer from the mound, coming out of that left-hander. And Cairoli, hard on the brakes, goes tight to the inside. We still have no way of knowing which way this is going to go. Cairoli keeps us a little bit lower. He's closing all the time on the Russian here. Tony Cairoli with 82 race wins. He goes to the inside. Evgeny Bobryshev, the Russian, with 1 race win to his name. A mistake there coming out of the corner. Spectators in the background with their hands on their head as well. We don't know which way this is going to go. Cairoli is closing all the time here. And we're building up to a bit of a crescendo as they head down past pit lane for the final time. And Cairoli dives down the inside, and they touch, and Cairoli stalls it. It's going to go to Evgeny Bobryshev. The crowd go absolutely crazy. And 2 corners to go. Evgeny Bobryshev, he was victorious in Moto number 1. He crosses the line here to take his 2nd race win, his 1st overall Grand Prix. And Evgeny Bobryshev, what a great weekend for him here in Germany. And Tony Cairoli salutes and congratulates Evgeny Bobryshev. Lorenzo Resta going to be in tears down there. And what a great moment for Evgeny Bobryshev. The first Honda Grand Prix victory in MX1 since Tanel Leok on the LS Honda last year. And he goes to Tom Hobbs, the press officer for Honda. He can't believe it. And Georgia Lindsay's waiting to get a word with him. Let's hear what he has to say.
Bobryshev, you just won the overall first ever GP.
Amazing. From the start till the end, what can I say? I love you, everyone. And it's the end.
Congratulations, Evgeny.
What a performance. What a performance from Evgeny Bobryshev. He's hot, he's tired, he's delirious. He doesn't know what's going on right now. It's all too much for him to take in. And he goes to the winner's circle just to get cleaned up. And a pat on the back there from Dr. Wolfgang Strub, the FIM CMS director. He'll be on the podium in a moment as well. But Bobryshev wins the 2nd race. He wins his 1st ever overall Grand Prix. Wow, it's just... And this is how close it was. Cairoli realized he had to make a do-or-die move. He ran it down the inside. He got out of shape, and then he caught his front wheel in the rear end. And, well, Bobby was probably expecting Cairoli half to come through, and then he realized when he looked over his shoulder that Cairoli had stalled in the corner. And in the end, wow, you've got to take your hat off to Evgeny Bobryshev. What did he say last week in Sweden? I'm getting closer. I'm getting higher up on the podium. So it'd be interesting to see how high he can see over this German crowd when he takes that top step of the podium. Remember, on MX Live TV, if you're tuned in watching on the internet, you can see a 10-minute extra live show immediately after we go off air here. And, well, you'll be able to see what our overall riders, our top 3, which will be Evgeny Bobryshev, Tony Cairoli, and it should be Clément de Salle, see what they have to say in extra time. But what a way to close out the Grand Prix here at Teuschenthal. Evgeny Bobryshev wins from Tony Cairoli. Clément de Salle was 3rd, Rui Gonçalves 4th. 5th was Ken de Dijker, ahead of Barragan, Nagel, Philipparts, Ramon, and de Ruva. Sean Simpson was, Brad Anderson, sorry, was 11th, ahead of Sean Simpson. And then we had Aranda, Boissière, Frossard got up to 15th in the end. And then it was Kevin Woutz, Xavier Borg, Walkner, Schmidinger, and then Campano. No points for Guarnieri, none for Leok, none for Porcel, or for Strybos this weekend. Martin Barr as well, 0 for him. in a wildcard ride this weekend on the proper.com KTM.
Vielleicht könnt ihr ja euren Jahresurlaub noch auf den September legen. Es wird sich lohnen. Am Freitag schon hoch.
Overall, the Grand Prix will look something like this. A Russian stands on the top step of the podium in MX1 from Cairoli. So Bobashev, Cairoli, de Sal, Gonçalves, Nagel, De Dijker, Barragan, Frossard. But all the talk, irrespective of where everybody else will finish in this overall Grand Prix, will be of the 777 Honda World Motocross rider Evgeny Bobashev of Russia. What was, I mean, I'm still amazed. I had somebody come in during the commentary, just looking at the timing screen with about 3 laps to go, pointing as I say, Evgeny Bobashev again, pointing at the screen saying, what is he doing this weekend, you know? And everybody is going to be so happy for him. Championship looks like this. Tony Cairoli, well, he'll extend his points lead over Clement de Sal. And so what's that, 366? 18 points the gap between Cairoli and de Sal now. So he's managed to pull out another 18 points over the Belgian. They might come in useful a little later on in the season, but we saw Clement de Sal was prepared to put up a fight in that second race. He was prepared to take the challenge to Tony Cairoli, but in the end the Sicilian was just too good. Just look at the eyes here when this caption goes. Look at Tony Cairoli's left eye. Focus, looking ahead. Look at that. Concentration. He's had a tough weekend this weekend, that's for sure, but he's been made to work